The massive alien ships appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning. They simply blinked into existence, 50 enormous vessels hanging above Earth's major cities like dark metallic clouds. The world held its breath. Major Robert Thompson stood at the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, staring at the massive holographic display, showing the alien fleet's positions. His knuckles turned white as he gripped the command rail. 20 years of preparing for this moment, and it still felt surreal. "Sir," Lieutenant Mary Parker called out from her station, "we're receiving a transmission. They're broadcasting on all frequencies." Thompson took a deep breath. Put it through. The main screen flickered to life, showing a face that made everyone in the command center gasp. The speaker was human. "People of Earth," the man said with a cold smile, "I am Commander James White of the Galactic Council Peacekeeping Force. Some of you may remember me from my previous life as Dr. James White of NASA. I've come to offer you a choice." Thompson's jaw clenched. White had disappeared 10 years ago during a routine space mission. Now they knew why. "Earth has been classified as a Class 3 developing world," White continued. "The Council has determined that your civilization requires guidance and integration into the greater galactic community. You have two choices: surrender peacefully and accept Council authority, or face immediate pacification." The room remained silent. They had trained for this, but seeing a human traitor leading the alien fleet wasn't part of any simulation. As a show of good faith, White said, his smile never reaching his eyes, "I'll give you 48 hours to consider our terms. Any military action during this time will result in immediate orbital bombardment." President Linda Morrison's voice came through on the secure channel. "Major Thompson, what are we looking at?" Thompson studied the tactical display. 50 capital ships, Madam President. Energy readings match our predictions from the crashed scout ship we recovered in '62. Their weapons are powerful, but... He paused, allowing himself a small smile. "They're exactly what we expected." "Then our preparations weren't wasted," the President said firmly. "Initiate Protocol Omega, and get me the other Security Council members." For the next hour, Thompson watched as hidden commands were relayed across the globe. Deep underground bases activated. Satellite networks reconfigured themselves. Soldiers and civilians alike moved to predetermined positions, all while appearing to panic and run scared. White's face appeared again. "Having second thoughts about the deadline, Major Thompson?" "Not at all, Commander White," Thompson replied calmly. "We're simply making sure everyone understands the terms. The world's governments need time to discuss this unexpected proposal." White laughed. "Still the same by the book, Robert. I remember when we trained together at the academy. Always following protocols, never thinking outside the box. That's why humanity needs the Council's guidance. You lack vision." "Perhaps," Thompson said, "or perhaps you've forgotten something important about humanity." "Oh, and what's that?" "We learn from our mistakes. We adapt, and we never show all our cards at once." White's smile faltered slightly. "You have 47 hours left. Don't waste them with pointless bravado." The transmission cut off. Thompson turned to his command staff. "Status report. Underground bases at 100% readiness," Lieutenant Parker reported. "Quantum defense grid online but masked. Civilian evacuation proceeding according to established protocols. All military units in position, but maintaining apparent disorder." "Perfect," Thompson said. "Let them think we're scrambling in panic. The more they underestimate us, the better." He looked at the massive ships hanging above Earth's cities. They were impressive, intimidating even. But humanity had spent 60 years preparing for this moment. Since the first alien signals were detected, since the first scout ship was captured, Earth's nations had secretly united against this very threat. White and his council masters thought they were dealing with a primitive, divided world. They expected panic, chaos, and quick submission. Instead, they'd find a unified planet with 6 decades of reverse-engineered alien tech and a very, very long memory for betrayal. Thompson smiled grimly. Send word to all commands. Protocol Omega is in effect. Let's show Commander White and his council friends why you should never corner a species that went from horse-drawn carriages to nuclear weapons in less than 50 years. The next 47 hours would change the galaxy forever, and humanity was ready. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emma Baker walked through a massive underground chamber that officially didn't exist. Around her, hundreds of technicians worked on machines that would make most science fiction writers jealous. Status report, she called out. Approaching the main control center, the giant screen showed real-time data from similar bases around the world. All systems go, Doctor, replied Tom Reed, her assistant. The council ships haven't detected any of our facilities. Their scans keep bouncing off our quantum shielding just like we planned. Emma allowed herself a small smile. The aliens thought Earth was primitive, but they were in for a shock. She stopped in front of their pride and joy. A reversed engineered alien engine, now improved beyond anything the council possessed. To think it all started with that crashed scout ship, Tom said, following her gaze. 60 years of secret development, and they have no idea. Emma nodded, remembering the stories her grandfather had told her about finding that ship in 1962. While the public got fed stories about weather balloons and swamp gas, the world's governments had quietly worked together, sharing the discovered technology. Her tablet beeped. Major Thompson is ready for the briefing, she said. Put him through on the main screen. Thompson's face appeared, looking tired but determined. Dr. Baker, please tell me you have good news. Better than good, Emma replied. The council's scans confirmed what we suspected. Their tech hasn't advanced much in 60 years. They got lazy, comfortable in their superiority. She pulled up a holographic display showing the council ship's specifications. Their shields still use the same frequency patterns we found in the scout ship. Our quantum AI cracked their encryption in minutes. We can shut down their systems anytime we want. What about their weapons? Thompson asked. Tom stepped forward. That's the best part, sir. Remember how we could never get the alien plasma weapons to work properly? Turns out we were thinking too small. Their weapons are powerful but predictable. Our countermeasures will make their main guns useless. Emma brought up another display. But here's what really matters. See these energy readings? They're using standard fusion drives. We cracked those decades ago. The antimatter engines we developed are far more powerful. And the ground forces? Thompson asked. Emma grinned. Wait until you see this. She pressed a button, and part of the floor slid open. A massive mechanical suit rose from below, standing 20 feet tall. We call it the Guardian. Powered armor with strength amplification, energy shields, and weapons that can punch through council ship armor. How many? 10,000, hidden in bases worldwide. Plus another 50,000 lighter versions for infantry. Been manufacturing them in secret for years, right under their noses. Thompson whistled. The council thinks they're dealing with a planet that barely reached its moon. They have no idea we've got bases on Mars and Europa too, do they? No, Emma confirmed. The quantum camouflage works perfectly. As far as they know, we're just a bunch of primitives with simple rockets and satellites. Her tablet beeped again. Sir, we're detecting council ships launching small probes toward major cities. Looks like they're preparing for their peaceful integration ahead of schedule. Thompson's face hardened. They're not going to wait the full 48 hours. Typical council arrogance. Dr. Baker, is everything ready on your end? Emma looked around the massive chamber, at the weapons and vehicles they'd spent decades preparing, at the quantum computers that made council tech look like pocket calculators, at the determination on every face in the room. We're ready, she said firmly. Operation Omega is fully armed and operational. Just give the word. Excellent. Thompson checked his watch. Get all personnel to battle stations. When the council makes their move, we'll show them why you should never judge a species by its public face. As alerts began sounding throughout the base, Emma walked to a secure terminal and entered her command codes. Around the world, other hidden bases were doing the same. Humanity's greatest deception was about to be revealed. "You know what my grandfather told me about that first alien ship we found," she said to Tom as they watched personnel rush to their stations. "He said the aliens made one huge mistake. They gave humans a puzzle to solve. And if there's one thing humans love more than exploring, it's proving someone wrong about what we can do." The Council was about to learn that lesson the hard way. The Council ships started moving before dawn. Their massive forms blocked out the stars as they positioned themselves for orbital bombardment. In the command ship, Commander James White smiled as he watched Earth's major cities through the view screen. "Still no response from your former friends," his alien second-in-command reported. "They appear to be hiding in their primitive bunkers." "As expected," White replied. "Let's show them how pointless resistance would be. Prepare to fire warning shots near all major capitals." But in the hidden command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Major Thompson watched the enemy ships with satisfaction. "They're right where we want them. Dr. Baker, are you ready?" "All systems prepared." Emma's voice came through clearly. "Quantum grid is powered up. They still haven't detected it." Thompson took a deep breath. "All commands, execute Operation Omega. Phase 1. Around the Earth, hidden platforms emerged from the ocean depths. Satellites that had appeared dead for years suddenly activated. Ground-based weapons concealed within innocent-looking buildings powered up. In the Council command ship, alarms suddenly blared. "Sir," an officer shouted, multiple energy signatures appearing worldwide. White's smile vanished. "Impossible. Their tech level doesn't allow." He never finished the sentence. The first wave of Earth's attack struck like lightning. Quantum-encrypted signals sliced through Council communication systems. AI systems that had spent decades studying Council technology took control of ship after ship. "We've lost engines on half the fleet," someone shouted. "Weapons systems not responding." White slammed his fist on the command console. "Override their signals. They're primitives. They can't." "Sir, look." The view screen showed platforms rising from the ocean, their surfaces gleaming with advanced technology. Massive energy readings appeared where there had been nothing moments before. "My God," White whispered. "What have they done?" In the underground command center, Thompson allowed himself a grim smile. "Second wave. Execute." Concentrated EMP bursts, specifically tuned to Council shield frequencies, struck the alien ships. Engines died. Weapons went dark. Communication systems failed. "This is impossible," White shouted as his command ship's lights flickered. "Earth is a primitive world. They'd barely reached their moon." "Actually," Thompson's voice came through on all Council frequencies, "we've had bases on Mars and Europa for 20 years. You just never noticed them. Your arrogance made you sloppy." The view screen showed Earth's true face. Hidden bases opened around the world. Advanced fighters rose from camouflaged hangars. Massive energy weapons emerged from mountainsides. "You thought we wasted 60 years," Thompson continued. "Since that first scout ship crashed, we've been preparing, learning, improving your technology while letting you think we were still playing with simple rockets." White watched in horror as his mighty fleet hung helpless in orbit. This is impossible. The Council's technology is superior." Was superior. Emma's voice joined in. 60 years ago, maybe, but you got comfortable, stopped innovating, while we took your basic designs and made them better." As if to prove her point, new energy signatures appeared around the fleet. Small, fast ships blinked into existence using advanced jump drives the Council had never mastered. "That's the funny thing about humans," Thompson said. "Give us a puzzle, tell us we can't solve it, and we'll spend decades proving you wrong. Your mistake wasn't coming to Earth. Your mistake was giving us time to prepare." "Sir," White's second-in-command reported, voice shaking, We've lost control of all systems. Their AI has completely overridden our computers. White asked weakly. But your computers are primitive. Another thing you got wrong, Emma replied. We stopped using traditional computers 20 years ago. Quantum AI is so much more effective, especially against outdated Council encryption. Thompson's voice hardened. Now, Commander White, let's discuss surrender terms, unless you prefer to see what else we've been hiding. As the Council fleet hung powerless in orbit, the sun rose over Earth. But this time it rose on a different planet than the one the Council thought they knew. This was humanity's true face, not the primitive world they had pretended to be, but a unified planet that had spent 60 years preparing for this exact moment. The real war was just beginning. Colonel Jack Miller stood in his Guardian combat suit, watching Council dropships fall through the clouds above New York. Unlike their disabled capital ships still hanging uselessly in orbit, these smaller craft had backup systems that Earth's first strike hadn't completely shut down. They're desperate now, he said to his troops through the command channel. And desperate enemies make mistakes. The first alien dropship landed in Central Park, its doors opening to release Council ground forces. The aliens stood 8 feet tall, wrapped in what they thought was superior armor. Remember your training, Jack said calmly. Let them think they have the advantage. Wait for my signal. More dropships landed. Soon, nearly 1,000 Council warriors stood in battle formation, their weapons ready. Their commander stepped forward, his voice booming through external speakers. Humans, your orbital defenses were impressive, but ground combat is different. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Jack smiled inside his hidden Guardian suit. The aliens couldn't see him or his troops, thanks to their advanced camouflage systems. The Council forces were looking right at them, but seeing only empty park space. Now, he said quietly. The air itself seemed to shift as 500 Guardian suits dropped their cloaking fields. The massive mechanical armor suits stood in perfect formation, their weapons already aimed. The Council forces took a step back in shock. Actually, Jack replied through his external speakers, ground combat is our specialty. The battle that followed was short but intense. Council energy weapons bounced harmlessly off Guardian shields, while human weapons, reverse-engineered and improved from the original alien technology, cut through Council armor like paper. Push them back, Jack ordered, his suit's enhanced strength letting him throw an alien vehicle like it was a toy. Don't let them regroup. Around the world, similar scenes played out. In London, Paris, Beijing, and dozens of other cities, hidden human forces revealed themselves. The Council's ground invasion, meant to demoralize Earth's population, instead became a demonstration of human military might. Sir, Lieutenant Rogers called through the command channel. Civilian militia groups are engaging Council forces in the outer boroughs. They're using the lighter combat suits. Jack nodded as he watched regular citizens, trained in secret over years, emerging to fight. The Council had expected to find scared civilians. Instead, they found a population prepared for war. In the command center, Major Thompson watched the battles unfold worldwide. Status report. Council forces are retreating in all major cities, Mary Parker reported. Their tactics. Sir, they don't know how to adapt. They keep trying the same failed strategies. Of course they do, Dr. Baker added from her station. They've relied on superior technology for too long. They forgot how to think creatively. On the main screen, they watched as Jack's forces pushed the Council troops back to their dropships in New York. Similar reports came in from around the globe. The Council's ground invasion was failing as spectacularly as their space attack. Sir, Mary called out, we're intercepting Council communications. They're calling for help, requesting reinforcements from the Council fleet. Thompson smiled. The fleet that's currently under our control. That should be interesting. Back in New York, Jack watched the last Council dropship lift off in retreat. His troops had suffered no casualties, while the alien forces had been decimated. "Command, this is Guardian Actual," he reported. "City is secure. Council forces are in full retreat. Civilian population is safe and celebrating in the streets." "Good work, Colonel," Thompson replied. "Similar reports coming in worldwide. The Council thought they could intimidate us with a show of force on the ground. Instead, we've shown them what humanity can really do." "Sir," Jack said, watching civilians taking selfies with his Guardian suits in the background, "I don't think they've learned their lesson yet." That commander was still talking about humanity's primitive nature, even as we were destroying his forces. "Don't worry," Thompson replied. "Phase 3 is about to begin. It's time to take this fight to their home territory." As the sun set over New York, Jack's troops began cleanup operations. The Council's ground war had lasted less than 6 hours, and Earth hadn't just survived. They had dominated. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The real battle would be fought not just with weapons, but with the one thing humans did better than any species in the galaxy: adapting and improving. Major Thompson watched as his teams boarded the Council command ship. After their ground forces retreated, the aliens had gone silent, probably hoping their disabled fleet would still look threatening hanging in Earth's orbit. They were wrong. "Breach teams in position," Lieutenant Parker reported. "Council crew is contained in their quarters. No resistance." "And Commander White?" "Found him in his cabin." "Sir." "He tried deleting the ship's databanks, but our AI was faster." Thompson nodded. "Dr. Baker, what have we found?" Emma's face appeared on the command screen, her eyes bright with excitement. "Major, you need to see this. The Council's entire military network was accessible through White's command codes. And it's not what we expected." The main screen filled with data streams, as Emma explained. "The Council isn't the all-powerful force they pretend to be. They've been faking it, just like we did, but in reverse. They show off advanced technology to scare other species, but their actual military power is maybe 1/10 of what they claim." "How is that possible?" Thompson asked. "Bureaucracy," Emma replied. "The Council has spent centuries creating rules and regulations about technology sharing. They deliberately keep most species dependent on them. But they got so caught up in their own rules that they stopped developing. They haven't made any real military advances in over 100 years." At that moment, Commander White was brought into the command center under guard. He looked defeated. "Finally figured it out, did you?" he said bitterly. "The great Galactic Council, ruling through fear and bureaucracy rather than actual power." Thompson studied his former colleague. "Why did you join them, James?" "Because I thought they were superior," White snapped. "When they first contacted me, showed me their technology, I believed all their promises. It took me years to realize the truth, that they spend more time maintaining their image than actually governing." Emma's voice cut in. "Major, you need to see this. We've cracked their full communication network. The Council is in chaos. Other species are watching what happened here. 3 systems have already declared independence." Thompson smiled. "And that's not all they're going to lose. Lieutenant Parker, send the data packet." Around the galaxy, on thousands of worlds under Council control, information began spreading. Videos of Earth's victory, proof of the Council's deceptions, evidence of their technological stagnation, all carefully prepared and translated into every known alien language. "You don't understand what you're doing," White warned. "The Council maintains order. Without them, species can develop naturally." Thompson cut him off. "No more artificial restrictions on technology. No more forced dependency." "Sir," Parker called out, "we're getting responses. The Centauri Confederation wants to open diplomatic channels. The Proxima Alliance is asking for technology sharing agreements. Sir, we're getting hundreds of requests for alliance talks." White slumped in his chair. "You've done it. You've actually done it. The Council's perfect system, destroyed in less than a day." "Not destroyed," Thompson corrected. change. Earth isn't interested in becoming another council, forcing our will on others. We're offering something different. Genuine cooperation. Emma's image nodded. And we've got proof they'll believe. Our quantum computers have decoded centuries of council records. Every lie, every manipulation, every fake show of force. It's all documented. Sir, Parker interrupted, incoming transmission from the council chamber itself. They're requesting emergency negotiations with Earth's representatives. Thompson looked at the main screen, showing Earth's forces now in control of the entire council fleet. Decades of preparation, of hiding their true capabilities, had paid off better than anyone could have imagined. They hadn't just defeated the council's military. They had exposed the entire system of control. Tell them we'll be happy to talk, Thompson said. But first, send this message to every council world. The age of deception is over. The time for true galactic cooperation has begun. As the message went out, Earth's hidden ships emerged from their secret bases on Mars and Europa, joining the captured council fleet in orbit. The sight of Earth's true space force, finally revealed, would send one last clear message to the galaxy. The time of council lies was over. Humanity had changed the game forever. The Grand Council chamber was nothing like Dr. Lisa Ward had imagined. After years of studying leaked alien data, she'd expected something impressive. Instead, she found a room full of nervous aliens trying to look important. As Earth's chief diplomat, she led the human delegation into the emergency session. Major Thompson and Dr. Baker flanked her, while screens showed the Council's supposedly mighty fleet now under Earth's control. This meeting will come to order, the Council leader announced, his translator making his voice sound deeper than it was. We are here to discuss the unfortunate conflict with Earth. Lisa stepped forward. Unfortunate? Is that what you call an unprovoked invasion? We were following standard procedures for integrating primitive worlds, another council member protested. Your resistance was unexpected. Primitive. Dr. Baker held up a small device. A hologram appeared, showing Earth's true technological achievements. We let you think we were primitive. While you were busy pretending to be all-powerful, we were actually advancing. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers as they saw Earth's quantum computers, antimatter drives, and AI systems, all more advanced than current council technology. Impossible, someone shouted. No species could advance so quickly. Actually, Major Thompson said, activating another hologram, we had help. Your help, though you didn't know it. The image showed the crashed scout ship from 1962. You gave us a starting point. After that, human innovation did the rest. Lisa watched the council members shift uncomfortably. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to discuss the council's lies, not just to Earth, but to every species in the galaxy. She pressed a button, and the chamber's own screens came alive with data, centuries of council records, showing their deceptions, their artificial restrictions on other species, their fake displays of power. You've been holding back the entire galaxy, Lisa declared, keeping other species dependent on you through lies and bureaucracy, making rules about technology sharing while you yourselves stopped innovating. These records are private. The council leader sputtered. You had no right. Private like the invasion fleet you sent to Earth. Thompson cut in. Private like the weapons you threatened our people with. Dr. Baker stepped forward. We've already transmitted this data to every council world. Right now, species across the galaxy are learning the truth about how you've been limiting their development, about how your mighty council fleet was defeated in hours by a planet you called primitive. The chamber doors opened as representatives from other species began arriving. The Centauri delegates entered first, followed by the Proxima Alliance and dozens of others. We've received Earth's data, the Centauri representative announced. We've confirmed its authenticity. Our worlds are withdrawing from the Council, effective immediately. More declarations followed. Species after species, all announcing their independence from Council control. The Council leaders watched helplessly as their carefully built system of control crumbled. "You don't understand." The Council leader tried one last time. "Without our guidance, there will be chaos." Lisa smiled. "No. Without your restrictions, there will be progress." She turned to address the entire chamber. "Earth doesn't want to replace the Council. We're proposing something new. A true alliance of equals. No artificial restrictions. No forced dependency. Just genuine cooperation and shared advancement." The chamber filled with approving murmurs. Species that had been rivals under Council rule now looked at each other with new interest. "We've already proven we can advance faster working together," Dr. Baker added. "Earth's technologies are available to any world that joins the new alliance. Not as charity, but as equal partners." Major Thompson stepped forward. "Earth's fleet, both our ships and the captured Council vessels, will ensure a peaceful transition. No more threats. No more forced compliance." The Council leader slumped in his chair as more representatives arrived, each announcing their withdrawal from Council authority. Within hours, the mighty Galactic Council had lost almost all its power. Lisa watched with satisfaction. Earth hadn't just won a military victory. They had changed the entire balance of galactic power. And they had done it not through force alone, but by exposing the truth and offering a better way forward. The age of Council deception was over. The real work was about to begin. 1 year after Earth's victory over the Council, the view from the new Galactic Alliance headquarters on Mars was spectacular. Earth's blue sphere hung in the black sky, while ships from 100 different worlds moved through space lanes that hadn't existed 12 months ago. Major Thompson, now Admiral Thompson, stood with Dr. Baker and Lisa Ward, watching a Centauri trade ship dock with the station. "Hard to believe how much has changed in just 1 year," Lisa said, checking her tablet. "The last Council loyalist world joined the Alliance this morning. It's official. The old Council is completely disbanded." "Good riddance," Dr. Baker replied. "Have you seen the latest technology sharing results?" She brought up a holographic display showing progress across the galaxy. Worlds that had been held back by Council restrictions were now advancing rapidly, sharing innovations and building on each other's discoveries. "The Proxima worlds have already adapted our quantum computing systems," she continued. "And the Centauri engineers improved our antimatter containment design. Working together, we've made more progress in 1 year than the Council allowed in a century." Admiral Thompson smiled. "And Commander White, how's our former traitor doing?" "Surprisingly well," Lisa answered. "Once he realized how much the Council had lied to him, he's been helping us identify other hidden Council facilities. His knowledge has been invaluable in the transition." Their conversation was interrupted by an alert. The main screen activated, showing a massive ship appearing through the quantum gate near Mars. "Right on time," Thompson said. "The first ship built by the combined efforts of 12 different species. Not bad for 1 year of cooperation." The ship was beautiful, sleek, and powerful, combining the best technologies from across the galaxy. Its name, written in multiple languages along its hull, translated to Unity. "Speaking of Unity," Dr. Baker said, "the first group of exchange students arrives next week. 2,000 young scientists from 50 different worlds, all coming to study at Earth universities. And just as many human students heading to other worlds," Lisa added. "Real cultural exchange, not the Council's controlled drips of information." The station's command center was busy with representatives from dozens of species working together. Where the Council had enforced separation and dependency, the new alliance encouraged cooperation and mutual respect. "Admiral," a young lieutenant called out, "we're receiving the final reports from the Frontier Expansion Project. 3 new habitable worlds discovered, and the colonization rights are being shared equally among Alliance members." Thompson nodded. Under the Council, such discoveries would have been kept secret or reserved for the elite. Now, every member world had equal access to new opportunities. "There are still challenges," Lisa said thoughtfully. Some worlds are advancing faster than others. We have to be careful not to create new inequalities. That's why the Alliance Charter is so important, Dr. Baker replied. Equal voting rights for all member worlds. Mandatory technology sharing. Joint defense responsibilities. We learned from the Council's mistakes. Through the window, they could see Earth's defense fleet patrolling alongside ships from other worlds. The combined fleet was stronger than the Council's had ever been, but it served to protect rather than intimidate. You know what the best part is? Thompson said, watching a group of alien children tour the station with their human guides. We didn't just beat the Council. We proved them wrong about everything they believed. How so? Lisa asked. They thought control was the only way to maintain order. They thought keeping species dependent on them was the only way to prevent chaos. Instead, we showed that real cooperation makes everyone stronger. Dr. Baker checked her data pad again. The latest estimates show galactic scientific progress has increased by 500% since the Council fell. Turns out when you let people work together freely, amazing things happen. As they watched, more ships arrived through the quantum gates. Trade vessels, scientific expeditions, cultural exchange ships. The space around Mars buzzed with activity that would have been impossible under Council rule. 1 year ago, we were pretending to be primitive to fool the Council. Lisa mused. Now we're helping lead a new age of galactic cooperation. Not bad for a species that barely reached their moon. Thompson smiled. That's humanity for you. Tell us we can't do something and we'll spend 60 years proving you wrong. Tell us we have to stand alone, and we'll build the biggest alliance the galaxy has ever seen. The future stretched out before them, filled with possibilities that even humanity's dreams hadn't imagined. The age of Council lies was over. The age of true cooperation had begun.